How would you execute this algorithm? Well, if it's not like this, or like this video is for you. If you want to solve the Rubik's Cube faster, mastering the correct turning techniques or using the right finger tricks, as we say, is crucial. Not only will you turn faster with the correct finger tricks, you'll also build something called muscle memory for each finger trick you do. So the solution and the execution both go hand in hand. I'm holding the cube in what's called the home grip. In the back I have my pinky supporting the cube, right there. My ring finger on the first layer and my middle finger on the second layer, both kind of covering the middle layer like this. My thumb in the front is holding this 2x2 block just like that. In the home grip, both index fingers are in the perfect position for U-layer flicks. A U-turn like this and a U-prime like this. So quiz time, how would you execute this algorithm? That's correct. Like that. But by holding it in the home grip, we can also freely turn the right layer by doing an R move like this, an R prime like this, or we can also regrip and do the moves like that, or an R2 like that, or like this. And this also covers the reason why we're holding the middle layer with our thumb and back fingers. Because if we wouldn't do that, look what happens. I would turn both the right layer and the middle layer simultaneously, and we don't want that. So holding the middle layer or any layer you don't want to turn is called bracing. And we're gonna see multiple ways of bracing later in this video. If you want to do left turns, however, our home grip kind of switches from the left hand to the right hand, so we would brace the middle layer with our right hand now, and we can do the same type of moves with our left hand, just like that. So applying what we just learned, we can do a Suzane algorithm as a beginner. Now to do RU, we need to regrip because otherwise we cannot do this U move right here. So we do R, U, R prime, regrip again for the U move, R, U2 like this, and R prime. To do front layer turns, we can regrip our hand, thumb on bottom, and do F moves by flicking our index fingers, just like we would do a U move like shown before. Or we can use our thumb for F primes, just like that. Note that this F prime can also be done from home grip if we move our index finger to brace the middle layer, just like this. Now you can do the same types of moves with your left hand, like this, or this, but for F moves you're gonna use your right hand way more often than your left hand. So applying this to the T case, give it a try yourself first before I show it to you, but let's start with a regrip, F move, and now we're in the position to just do the sexy move, like this. And we can use our thumb for the F prime, just like that. Now most of the finger tricks I'm gonna show in this video also work for wide moves or double layer turns. The only difference is how you grip the cube, since we wanna grab both layers together, but we also wanna open up our grip to prevent bracing the middle layer. So a wide R move, we would open up our grip, grab both layers, R, R prime, R2. But it's kind of redundant to go over all finger tricks because, for example, an F move, using the same finger tricks as before, but we're not bracing the middle layer. Just like that. Now try yourself to do wide moves on this OLL case. This is basically just a fat Suzane with a wide move in the beginning and the end. Okay, we can start by opening up our grip, holding the cube like this, wide R, U, bracing the middle layer again, R prime, U, R, U2, once again opening up the grip, wide R prime, just like that. For middle layer turns, we don't want to do any kind of bracing, we just want to hold the cube like this and use the ring finger of whichever hand you're most comfortable with to turn the middle layer, just like that. Now for algorithms with an M move, which is in the other direction, we can use the same finger and push the middle layer upwards. But this is pretty awkward and you don't have a lot of algorithms that use this move. What you can do instead for an M move is just do a wide R prime and an R move, just like that. Now try to apply this technique to this OLL case. We can start by doing this, regrip, and now in this position when we need to do the M move, we can just do wide R prime, R, which does the M move, and then inserting the pair, just like that. And for the D layer, notice how our ring fingers of either hands are in perfect position to do a flick. Just make sure you're not bracing with your pinky. So we can do D prime or D, just like that. Finally, we have rotations where you flip the entire cube. While there aren't any fancy ways to finger trick these, sometimes they can flow with your algorithm. For example, with an A perm, you start with an X rotation. So instead of doing this and then regripping to do the R prime, we can do both the rotation and the regrip together by just simply doing this. But because rotating is solution-based and not execution-based, we'll cover how to avoid unnecessary rotations in more depth in other videos. Just by applying these basic finger tricks, we can do pretty much any algorithm. For example, a T-perm, we can do just like that. So why learn it any other way? Well, there are two concepts that are fundamental for developing faster and more efficient turning. For example, your T-perm can also look like this.
That's hot.
A regrip is whenever you need to get out of the home grip to do a turn. For example, in the Suzane algorithm I showed before, to do RU-R prime, I needed to regrip my hand right here, and then regrip back to home grip to do the rest of the solution. This isn't ideal because doing a regrip takes more time than doing a turn. Because for a regrip, we have to entirely let go of the cube, whilst for a normal turn, we can just do this. Now at the end of the Suzane, we're doing a U2 by doing 2 single flicks. Now my left hand has to work really hard, and he doesn't like doing that. Now luckily we can solve this with better finger tricks. Don't worry, little friend. The intermediate finger tricks I'll show you right now will greatly reduce the amount of regrips and overworking you do in solves. It might take some time to get adjusted to them, but I highly recommend being familiar with them. Mastering these finger tricks puts you in a strong position to excel, as everything beyond that are just additional bonus tricks. We're gonna start by tackling the U2 overworking by learning a double flick. You do this by first using your index finger, followed by your middle finger, just like that. Now the other hand, index, middle finger. Double flicks might be super uncomfortable in the beginning, but just trust that after doing it a lot, you'll get the hang of it. A great way to apply this double flick is for this case right here. Try to do it yourself first. So you can do R, U2, R2, U, R. Insert a pair, R2, U2 once again, and R, just like that. When we're starting the Suzane, we had the issue that for the RU-R prime, we had to regrip to do the sequence. The reason is, if we did an R from home grip, just like this, we haven't learned the way to do U move from this position. So let's learn 2 ways. First off, in this position, my left index finger right here is free to do a push move, just like this. And once again,
oh my god, my hands are so exhausted.
Just give it time, bro. Pain is a currency for success. So U push, U prime push. Now back to the same position right here. I can also use my right hand's finger right here to do what's called a pinch move, just like this. Notice that if you want to do this starting from home grip, it's easiest to first move your index and middle finger on top, just like this. Do an R move, and now your index finger is in the correct position to do a pinch move. Same with left hand, just like that, a pinch move. So combining the intermediate finger tricks, we can now do the Suzane without regrips or overworking in 2 ways. Can you figure them out? Well, the first one starts like this. We push with the left hand, do an R prime, U, R, double flick this time, and closing the right layer. And the other way is with a pinch, so we start like this, R, pinch turn, R prime, U, R, U2 again, R prime. Now for the last execution, we'll see an even better way to do this later in the video. And by the way, congrats! You learned how to do a Suzane in the way that I do it.
This video is sponsored by TheCubicle.com. Does your cube look like this and you're trying to finger trick? Ain't gonna happen, bro. Instead, visit TheCubicle.com and visit hundreds of awesome speed cubes, like this one. Damn, bro, that's cool. And make sure to use discount code CubeHead for a huge discount. Alright, back to the video.
Now next up we have a bonus finger trick. So let's say we have a pair right here that we want to insert into the back. From home grip, doing an R prime, we're in the position right now to do a U drag move, which goes like this. So using the ring finger we can do bam, and then doing an R move. A bit faster, just like that. This might be a bit difficult in the beginning, but it will feel very natural after you do it a couple of times. Same from the other side, just like that. Now we've seen a lot of new U finger tricks, and I want you to try to apply it to this UA perm. You can do this full algorithm without any regrips or overworking. You can either start with a pinch, just like that, but I like to start with a push move right here. Pretty basic, taking out the back pair, inserting this pair, just like that, and inserting that pair again, as we've seen before. We can just drag it in like that. Now onto F turns. First of all, you can double flick the front layer. There aren't a lot of algorithms that use this, but just know that you can. And next up for single layer turns, we've seen that we can do an F move like this. But you can also push back with your index finger like that. We can also pull the layer down and do a F turn like this. For example, try applying these two finger tricks for this hedge insert. Alright, we can start by pulling the F layer down like that, R prime, pushing it back, and R, just like that. Instead of doing our D moves by doing this or this, there is one more really important finger trick, and you will use this for almost all D move algorithms. For a D prime, instead of doing this with your right hand, we can also use our left hand and push the layer just like that. So pushing it that side. Now let's apply some of these finger tricks to this case right here. So we're gonna start with an R2, so let's regrip, R2, and because we're gonna do a D move right now and we know we're gonna do a D prime later, we can hold this finger in this position right here. So continue, U2, R, push this time, R prime, U2, R prime. Now for D2 moves, you can alternate between your ring and pinky finger just like that, or the other way around, pinky, ring. I think more people prefer to do that. It really depends on your hands and what you prefer. Now these are pretty much only useful for something like A perms. Right here we can do R, U, R prime, D2, just like that, R, U prime, R prime, D2 once again, and going back. And that is the only way to... Shit. And that is really the only way to do these D2 moves really fast. Woohoo! Now another double flick we need to learn is M2 double flicks. We can use our ring finger followed by our middle finger, just like that. Once again, you can use your left hand or your right hand, whatever you prefer. Now some people might do pinky ring. I personally don't like this, but if that works for you, go ahead and do that. Now doing an H perm is a great way to practice your M double flicks and also your lefty U2 double flicks, which can be really annoying. Let's give it a try. So by learning the intermediate finger tricks, you should be able to avoid most regrips. However, there are a few more finger tricks which are pretty uncommon but can be super sexy if you know them. First off, I present to you the ring finger U-turn. Now this might seem super unnecessary, but let's take a look at the pinch soon once again. So we start like this, R, pinch, R prime. Now instead of overworking this finger and doing another U move, our ring finger is in a perfect position to do a U move, just like that. Now doing this finger trick feels similar to doing a double flick, that's why it's also being called a disjointed double flick. Next up we have a finger trick that's a bit of a stretch, literally, because we're gonna move our finger all the way here and do a U pull, just like that. For example, Matty Yeroda, one of the best cubers in the world, is extremely good at these, and it just looks so satisfying. You will see a lot of people use this finger trick for this MU U perm, which goes like this. Pull, push, U2, M prime, pull once again, M2. Now just like you can pinch the U layer like this, you can pinch the front layer by doing this. With both hands. Now often in the middle of algorithms you will be holding your cube like this with your other hand, and because you can brace the middle layer with your other hand, this becomes pretty easy. But in home grip you need to brace the middle layer by using one of your pinkies. It can be pretty annoying to brace the middle layer, and that's why this is one of the more difficult finger tricks. There's a way to finger trick the Y perm without any regrips or overworking, so let's try to figure it out yourself, or I'm gonna show you in just a second. We can start with a pinch move like this, R, U prime, R prime, and now another U prime, but this time we're gonna use a disjointed double flick by doing this, R, U, R prime, F prime with our thumb, and then we have the same as before, sexy, and then sledge, like that. A bit faster, just like that. If you want to do an R or L2 move, we always regrip and do this, because you cannot really do it from this position, it's really uncomfortable. However, if we position our index finger right here, we can do what's called a rolling R2, which goes like R, and then just roll the R layer just one turn further, just like that. You will only find this in last layer algorithms, for example this G-perm. Instead of starting like this, you can start by doing this. Now S moves are pretty uncommon, but they can unlock really cool last layer algorithms. Now you can just pull an S move like this using your index fingers. Now this will be pretty easy because just from home grip you're bracing the front and the back layer anyway, so you can just do an S move like this or an S prime like this. Or alternatively, and this might be a bit more difficult, you can also do an S prime like this and an S move like this by pushing using your index fingers. Let's apply that to this dot case. Now, it is a pretty annoying case, but once you know S moves, this becomes a really good case instead. So the basic way to do this is doing an S prime, taking out the pair, doing an S move, and then we can just sledge in the pair like this. However, there's a fancy way to avoid overworking my right index finger. So instead of starting like this, we can do this, R, push, R prime, pull, and then sledging in the pair. This is a really fancy finger trick. If you can do this, that's really impressive. While I covered the most fundamental finger tricks, which should form the base of your turning style, you will occasionally encounter unique finger tricks for specific cases. Feel free to use them since some of them make a lot of sense. Now finally, it might seem impossible to apply all of these finger tricks I covered to your soles right away, and it probably is. But to learn how to most effectively learn and apply these finger tricks, check out this video right here where we will start applying all we learn. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao guys.